Hey everybody, it is me, Lance Meixer from Gray Fox Games here, or Undead Viking if you know who that is. Now, I do one of these videos every week for the Gray Fox Games YouTube channel, just to kind of give you a glimpse into some of the aspects of the board game world, give my opinions about a few things. Occasionally, I will have Josh, one of the owners of Gray Fox Games, come on here and give his insight into different aspects. And this is just kind of a fun way to kind of let you know exactly how the Gray Fox Games world works. Today, I wanted to talk about a few different things, but it mostly has to do with game mechanisms. Recently, I was requested by a friend of mine that I had back in high school. We played in jazz band together, and he lives in the same town as me. And as we got older, we just neither of us really got out of the area. And he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've got this idea for a board game. I know you work in the board game world. Do you think you could come over to my house and talk to me about this and the process?" And I was happy to do it. It was fun to catch up with somebody that, like, literally I used to sit next to and play trombone next to every day, twice a day, in my high school career. And we caught up a little bit, and then we talked about board games in general. And he talked about this theme or this idea that he wanted to put into the board game world. And I won't bore you with as far as the theme goes, it's historical. But that process of me describing game mechanisms to him, like, and it isn't as if like he doesn't play board games. I mean, and it isn't as if he doesn't play designer board games. I mean, I know for a fact that he's gone to board game nights that my local game store has put on. He's talked to me about how much he enjoys games like Ticket to Ride, games like Carcassonne, also some more in-depth games as well, like Puerto Rico is like one of his favorite games. So it isn't a situation where he he's totally new to the hobby. What it was though was I started describing to him either more esoteric games where he's like, "What's that?" And he was writing down the names because he thought they might be interesting to him, but also describing actual game mechanisms to him. And I found it really interesting that, you know, people that play games, they just play the game. They don't really think anything of it. Like I said, like card drafting, you could have one of the aspects of this game that you're thinking of. I think card drafting will work. And he's like, "What's that?" And then I had to think, well, have you ever played a game of hearts? And he's like, "Absolutely." And he's like, "So when you take the three cards and you hand them to the person to your left, they're like, that's card drafting because you're drafting cards out of your hand that you want to get rid of, and somebody else takes cards out of their hand and they hand them to you. And there's a strategy behind that." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I never even knew about that." And then he was like that Seven Wonders game that I played. And I was like, "Exactly, Seven Wonders. It's a card drafting game." He's like, "I've never even thought about what that is." And so then he asked me, "What are game mechanisms? What are they?" And so we had a very long conversation about different mechanisms that are placed into games. And it was one of these like kind of moments where I said, there are people that are outside of, and I knew those people existed, trust me, but it definitely was a reminder that there are absolutely people that are involved in this hobby, that are involved with playing board games that really, really love them, but they don't, but they play the game and then they're done with the game. And they don't actually play the game and then dive into the hobby like I did, 15 years ago or so, and other people as well. People that log into Board Game Geek for the first time ever, create an account, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, look at all these games." Stuff like that. And it was really kind of, for lack of a better term, I don't want to say interesting, but it was definitely and I don't really want to say epiphany because it isn't something that I didn't already knew existed, but it was fun to kind of see the excitement in my friend's eyes, this old friend that I've known for decades, as I saw that this world of the board game world was like kind of opening up to him, just like it opened up to me a little while ago. So I just wanted to kind of tell that story, just because I found it cool, but I also wanted to know if you're watching this, like, what is kind of like that moment where, I mean, what type of gamer do you consider yourself to be? Do you consider yourself to be somebody that's like really into it, like you're researching games, you read about them, you read about designers, you read about production, you read about all the aspects of the game? Are you somebody that just likes to, play a game and just and enjoy it? Are you somebody that you're getting into that moment where you're having that real deep dive and you're starting that deep dive, or maybe you did that deep dive many years ago. Anyway, tell me about where you are with the board game hobby in your life, exactly where you think you're headed, and what was the game or games that really started you off in this process. But as always, please hit the like, the subscribe, share it around, do what you can, and yeah, thanks for listening to this, and take care of yourself until next time.